We have a major problem with how we ramp new account executives. Your new AEs are being declared ramped at 3 or 6 months, but can they actually run discovery or execute the sales process without you jumping in to save them? Most can't, and that's the problem. Most sales teams ramp reps based on time in seat and not capability-based onboarding where you certify your new sellers. So I built a playbook full of frameworks, implementation roadmaps, and infrastructure guides that cut ramp time in half and have proven to improve win rates by 75%, and it's completely free. So stop this episode right now and go and download the Sales Readiness Playbook at therevenueenabler.com or use the link in the description below. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hit Your Numbers podcast. Today, we've got another solo episode. I'm riding solo on this thing. I wanted to bring you something around storytelling. Now, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, I'm actually going to be doing a demo today. I'm going to actually be taking you through how you can use ChatGPT to build really compelling customer stories that help you inspire change and win more deals. I highly recommend going over to YouTube and checking out the screen share. I'm going to jump into that in just a second. So definitely recommend doing that. You can listen along, but you'll definitely get a lot more value. I'll be talking things through anyway, but you'll get a lot more value by visualizing this one. So highly recommend going and checking that out. All right, just before I jump into the episode, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, follow, do all that kind of good stuff. We're investing a lot of time and money into the podcast. We want to keep bringing you really high value content. So if there's something that's top of mind for you, something you're struggling with, either send me an email, james@jamesbissell.com, or shoot me a LinkedIn message. Let me know what topics you want us to be focusing on next. Otherwise, I'm just going to be freestyling based on the work we're doing with sales organizations. And I'd rather you be saying, hey, I'm really struggling with building pipeline or multi-threading or building a business case or qualifying a champion or, accurately forecasting my deals to my boss, whatever it might be. Or maybe you're a sales leader and you're struggling to recruit or onboard, ramp up reps or, execute a forecast or a deal review, whatever it might be. Reach out. I'll bring a special guest on, or I'll just deep dive into my VP playbook and I'll record an episode based on that. Okay, cool. So let's jump into the episode. Today I want to talk about storytelling. I'm big on storytelling. If you're listening to this and you're part of the sales teams that I work with, you'll notice there's always something about storytelling we talk about. If it's cold calling, discovery, demo, whatever it might be. Okay, stories are critical. You scroll through the LinkedIn news feed, you will just not see anything about storytelling. Like you'll see all of these gurus that talk about cold calling, yet none of them ever talk about storytelling. Why? I don't know, go ask them. But the reality is, like, when you think about a cold call, a discovery meeting, a sales process, our job in sales is to sell change. We are trying to get our prospect to change the way they do things. In most cases, they are getting the job done without us. So if we want to get them to change, we need to inspire them. We need to build confidence. We need to demonstrate that we've got evidence. We've done this before. They should take the risk because it's an educated risk. It feels like a safe bet. It feels like this thing's going to work out. And we need to build confidence by doing that. Okay. And storytelling for me is the best way to do it. It's the best way to talk about yourself. It's the best way to articulate how you solve business problems, what your product or your service does, and the outcomes that it delivers. So I'm actually going to give you a ChatGPT right now that you can implement and start using today. Okay. So head over to therevenueenabler.com. There'll be a link in the video description, the podcast description below. When you come to the website, so for example, if you land on the homepage here, head over to the Learning Hub, go to free downloads, and then scroll down, and you're looking for the Story Builder. Okay. While you're there, feel free to check out some of the other resources, right? But this Story Builder, just pop in your details and it will email you over a link. You'll also go into our newsletter then. Thousands of sales reps and sales leaders get it every single week where I share a lot of this kind of stuff, but in the private newsletter. And then when you go there, you'll open it up and it'll look a little bit like this. Okay. It'll say Story Builder and it'll have this button here that says, let's get started. Okay. Now, all you do is you click let's get started. Now, the reason that I recommend using my GPT is because in the back end of this custom GPT, I've put in pages and pages and pages of what really good stories look like, what winning frameworks look like, what frameworks I used to teach my teams, now what frameworks I use when I'm working with sales organizations or when I've got an SDR or an AE that pays for coaching with me. These are the frameworks that I use, okay? So I'd highly recommend using this custom GPT. By the way, if you're listening to this, feel free to share this with your team. Like if you're a sales leader, give them access to the podcast or give them access to this custom GPT. Feel free to share this with all of your colleagues. But basically, like people sit there for ages trying to figure out how do I like talk about this product, how do I talk about this customer, etc., etc. This custom GPT is going to do it all for you. So first things first, go get access to the custom GPT. Second thing, I want you to follow my workflow here. So it's asking me, hey, great, please can you share the URL to the case study you'd like to use in the customer story? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to my website. We've head over to testimonies. We've got this case studies page here. We've done some fantastic work with one of our customers, Step2. Great metrics. I want to be able to tell that story when I'm speaking to other sales leaders, right? To build confidence that we're the right training partner. We know what we're doing. We've got experience. We've got evidence of solving big business problems in the sales organization and driving positive outcomes. So what you do is you just grab the URL, head over to the chat GPT, and inside of the bar here, I'm just going to enter that URL. And then as you're watching this in 10 seconds, it's reading that page. It's looking at all of the context I've put into the back end of my custom GPT, and it's now writing me that story, okay? Now, the framework is really, really simple. By the way, when I'm coaching reps, they're like, hey, do you know what? I want to tell more stories, but I've got two problems. One, I don't really know how to write them. And two, I don't really know how to start telling them. And I kind of get that last part because it does feel kind of awkward unless you have a story starter. And that first line here, which you can see on the screen, which is in bold, I call this a story starter. So when I'm in discovery or when I'm on a cold call and I want to shift gears and start to build some confidence and talk about how we solve the problem, I want to have a transition. And a really nice way of doing that is by saying something like, look, Sarah, really thanks for that context. Do you know what? This conversation really reminds me of one of my customers, ... So you can use that sentence to transition into a story to make it feel conversational. So this conversation really reminds me of Step2. Okay, their sales team, their leadership was on a mission to scale success. So I wouldn't copy paste this, but what it's doing is it's using the framework, and then I'm going to just fine tune it and tweak it, right? So what it says here, I'll read it out for people that are listening to the podcast. It says, this conversation reminds me of one of our customers, Step2. Their sales leadership was on a mission to scale success. Even though the team was already performing well, they knew they could close more complex deals more consistently. Step2 faced a challenge with inconsistent sales execution across key stages like discovery, qualification, and closing, and their leaders simply didn't have the internal bandwidth to deliver structured coaching at scale. We helped by running a tailored enablement program that started with detailed analysis of performance data and skill gaps, then delivered bespoke training, cohort-based workshops, ongoing coaching, and access to 400 structured lessons in the Sales University platform. The results were rapid and measurable. Win rates are up 75%, average deal size grew 31%, revenue per AE rose 64%, and sales reps retention jumped 122%. Plus, one new account executive lifted their win rate from 4% to 31%, which resulted in a 675% improvement. Does that sound like a solution for your business, et cetera, right? I don't like that last question, but that's where I'd probably tweak it. Now, there's a couple of tweaks I would make to this just to make it flow a bit better, but within 10, 15 seconds, it's done all of the hard work for me, right? I would take out some of the words, swap some things out, but that's the first pass. And that's the power of ChatGPT, guys, is if you build custom GPTs and you put context into the back end, what does good look like? If you do a really good job of that, when you actually need to use it, it can get you 80, maybe 90% of the way there. You just need to tweak that last little bit and you can just increase the quality of that execution piece there. So highly recommend you go and check this out. I've got maybe 20, 30 of these custom GPTs inside the Sales University. So if you want to learn anything more about those, shoot me an email, james@jamesbissell.com, or drop me a DM on LinkedIn, or if you head over to the website, if you're still watching the screen share, head over to the website, go to the website here, therevenueenabler.com, click on the bit that says 4 reps, and you'll see the Sales University. Loads and loads and loads and loads of feedback from customers. And then you get this breakdown of what's included: 400 lessons, one-to-one coaching, group coaching, content vault, James GPT, which is my AI tool stack, loads and loads and loads of other capabilities. So yeah, if you want to learn anything more about that, head over to the website, drop me a message. But for now, I'll leave you to it. Hope you go and test this out. Give me some feedback on the custom GPT. Let me know what you think. I do genuinely look at all of my LinkedIn messages and read all of my emails and reply to them all. So I'd love to hear your feedback. What did you think about the story builder? Did it help you close the gap? Did you have to make loads of changes? Give me some feedback so I can make it even better for you guys. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see you on another episode of the Hit Your Numbers podcast soon. All right, thanks for listening to this episode. I've got something else I want to give you before we wrap up here. So we've built the leading skill optimization platform with 400 plus sales lessons, 12 courses from prospecting all the way through to late stage deal negotiation and more, one-to-one sales coaching and AI sales assistance. And I want to give you 7 days free access to the platform. The reason I want to do this is because nobody gets a degree in B2B sales. And after training and coaching hundreds of sales reps and teams in the last 2 years, most haven't mastered critical selling skills. And it's preventing them from being promoted, earning great money, and building a great career in B2B sales. So go to the revenueenabler.com, grab a free trial, and join hundreds of salespeople that are closing their skill gaps and mastering sales. There's a link in the video description. I'm looking forward to getting you set up. Give me a shout with any questions.